Hello, SNA Assassinators. This is Super Ninja Austin back here with another video. And the celebration continues because it is the 1-year anniversary edition of the SNA podcast. This time around, it's the AEW Dynamite review I've been hyping up earlier today. And yeah, we're going to be talking about talking about what exactly went down on AEW this Wednesday on August 14th, which is the same day the same day that I'm celebrating my full year anniversary show as being a SNA YouTuber, I guess you could say. More likely just YouTuber, I guess. By starting this podcast about last year on August 14, 2023, when I was reviewing that year's Monday Night Raw. Wish I could do something bigger, but I'm low budget right now. But I guess this is better than nothing, I suppose. But what to start off with the celebration by talking about what exactly went down on AEW Dynamite. We have 5 banger matches, and then we got top 5 banger matches, and we also got build up to the championship next week in Cardiff, Wales, which is the Continental Championship. And then we're like about 11 days until the biggest pay-per-view of the year of All Elite Wrestling. But what would not be a better thing to talk about on my 1-year celebration is the TBS Championship, and that is the CEO, Mercedes Moné, taking on Hikaru Shida. And yeah, this match was totally the best of the night. Well, I'm not sure if it's the number one though, because we had Swerve Strickland versus Willa Yuta. I'll say it was pretty good because it was Swerve was basically sending a message to Bryan Danielson, like something that we expected him to do, but it was more than just what we expected. Though at the same time with him, battering poor Willa Yuta, which he's used to it, but not what Swerve did to him tonight. But that's later on in tonight's video. But yeah, we're going to start off with the former AEW Women's Champion challenging the current TBS Champion, the CEO herself right now. That's where we got the match starting off with where the CEO immediately slapped Hikaru Shida right across her face. This is where then Hikaru Shida's like, really? Like, did you really have to do a puny slap like that to me? This is where the CEO was like, yeah, of course, because you're nothing but just a warm up, like Willa Yuta is with the AEW champion. And I was thinking to myself, what's up with these African-American champions in AEW that's acting heelish? Well, it's obvious that she's a heel, but Swerve, he was acting like a heel in his match in the main event. But we're going to talk more about that in just a moment. But this is where the West Virginia fans then start cheering on Mercedes Moné, if she's the babyface in this match. I'm not sure about that, even though Hikaru should have been acting like a heel as of late from the last few weeks, but she still was considered a babyface in this match. But they're doing some building, if she's gonna be joining the dark side. But at this time, I don't think she's quite there yet. But anyway, this is where we got the case right now, because this is where Hikaru Shida was one to fight her like a face will always do to their heel opponents, especially when it comes to being a championship being on the line. This is where she cornered her right into the right side. Referee was like 1, 2, 3, 4. She's on the ropes. That's a rope break, and this is not a no rope break contest, unfortunately. This is where then Moné then slowly got back in the ring, off the ropes in the right side. This is where he got them did their grappling battle, but this is where it was all just a ruse, because Moné then went right behind Shida and hit her with a mini waist slam, I guess you could say, by hitting her with a back to belly maneuver kind of position. But this is where then she ran right to the right side. This is where she's like, I got you right where I want you. This is where then we got Hikaru. She was like, oh, you want to bet? This is where she outsmarted her. This is where she went to the top corner side. When she ran to the left, this is where she ambushed her and hit a running shoulder tackle, I believe. And this is where then she sent her right to the upper left side. This is where fans start cheering on Shida. Final. This is where then she tried to go for a big splash, but Moné moved out of the way. This is where we got the fans start chanting for Hikaru Shida and another half Mercedes Moné, saying let's go Shida CEO kind of chance. This is where we got Mercedes Moné then dodge out of the way. Like once she tried to go for the she tried to attack her in the upper left side. This is where she rolled her up into like a wheelbarrow version of the surprise roll up. This is where we got Mercedes Moné then go for a springboard up in the upper left side. She goes for an arm drag, turn it to the crossface, which she calls it the Moné statement. I believe that's what she calls it now. Let me know in the comments if it's a different name or not, or if I'm right. But this is where we got Hikaru Shida then counter and hit a crucifix pin into a pin. But this is where she only got a 2.7. But this is where she flips her right over once she kicks out. This is where they did a stare down when Moné was on her knees, but this is where she gave a evil grin. Of course, she would do that because she is a heel. But this is where and then she was like she was looking at her like, be careful what you wish for. You just might get it, and again, there's a price to pay when you mess with the CEO or whatever catchphrase we say. But this is where she try to grab Hikaru Shida's left hand with her right hand. Like this is where they try like a hand grabbing war, but this is where Moné won and kicked Shida right into the midsection. She sent Hikaru right into the lower right side. I meant this is where we got Hikaru Shida drop kicks her once she tried to go for a running attack move, but because there was because she made a big mistake of not knowing what move she's gonna hit in particular. But yeah, this is where she hit. This is where she ended up getting Hurricane Rana afterwards. After getting kicked right in the face, is where Shida got her in the bottom right side, right where she won her. This is where she started hitting her with multiple punches. I believe like 10 times. This is where she went for a suplex. This is where she tried to go for a pin, but Moné got the left shoulder up at the last second of 2.999999999. But this is where we got Hikaru Shida try to go for a swift knee strike right to the face of Moné, but this is where Mercedes moved out of the way. She flipped her right over, try to go for a surprise roll-up, like a schoolgirl position, but this is where we got Hikaru Shida get back up. This is where she swift kicked her right to the face. This is where then we got and where they started going for that maneuver like the TNA those TNA wrestlers used to do back in the day, like 15 years ago, like going back and forth, like with the roll-ups, like 1, 2, lift them up for the pinfall, but they always keep kicking out at the near fall. But this is where we got Mercedes Moné was getting tired of this. This is where she flipped right behind Hikaru Shida, puts her on her back and try to get ready to do the Moné maker, but that didn't work at first, and you know the rules on that. Like if it doesn't work the first time, it's a guarantee the second time, which that was the case right here tonight, but we're going to get that in just a moment. But this is where Shida then flip it right over into a backslide maneuver? But this is where Moné kicks right out. This is where we got Hikaru Shida then goes for that knee strike right into the face. But this is where Mercedes Moné then screamed like in a hilarious manner, even though it did not look funny, like at least into her eyes it wasn't. This is where she started breathing heavy, and I was like, man, like I don't know about everybody else, but I guess she I don't know about everybody else, but I think she's the goofiest goofiest acting wrestler. Like when it comes to acting, I say, but I don't know how to explain it, but yeah, she's basically she definitely got. My point is she's got the goof. She showed the goofy side of her playing as a heel in this in her role as TBS champion. And yeah, she's definitely getting the Goofy Wrestler of the Night award, I guess you could say. But anyway, this is where we got Camille then try to check on her, see if she's okay, because she was breathing heavy in and out. With her overselling this spot. This is where we got Hikaru Shida then try to hit Moné right to the turnbuckle, which she did successfully did so, by the way. This is where we got Hikaru Shida then try to send her right back in the ring with a suplex. This is where she successfully did that, but this is where once she tried to go for a pin, it was a near fall once again. Yeah, and nothing obviously was not going to be put her away. Probably not until All In. But this is where we got Hikaru Shida then Irish Whip the CEO right into the bottom right side. Is where the former AEW Women's Champion tried to close on her right from that area. But this is where she ducks out of the way. This is where she tried to go for flying head scissors. This is where we got Hikaru Shida and then go for a right side, hitting some right arms right into the back. This is where she tried to go for her signature kick right into the side of the face of the CEO, but this is where her bodyguard, the Brick House, Camille, had saved the day and stopped her, like if she was literally a brick wall, like right in front of her, that's being an obstacle in her way. And I was thinking to myself, like, did they ever wrestle before? Like when she was still under the NWA contract, still under an NWA contract 4 years ago. When in her first run, when Tony Khan was doing that partnership deal with that promotion, like I I guess so, but I'm probably going to search that as soon as I get done, like reviewing the AEW tonight. But this is where we got the CEO. Then went right over Camille, and then went right onto Hikaru's head with her two knees right into her face. This is where she hit her with the meteor. This is where she was like yeah, like smart strategy. And then this is where. And then this is where then we got Monet, then send her right back. And we see Snapmare's Hikaru. This is where then she hits the meteor right into the face. This is where we got her trying to go for a pin, but this is where Sheeta got the shoulders up. This is where she started screaming like if she was Carmella, the AEW Carmella, let me rephrase that. This is where she was like there's got to be a way to put her away. And then she's like, and nobody hardly kicks out of that. Well, I'm not sure if that's accurate. And I might be mistaken, But anyways, this is where we got Monet then went go for a headlock. After that didn't work at the count of 2.5, I believe, that Hikaru Shida kicked out of. This is where we got Hikaru Shida managed to get their foot right onto the ropes, but this is where Monet was not going to give up easily. This is where then she tried to throw Hikaru Shida right into the Tina the turnbuckle, and she said, "What's up, to Tina?" And she was like, "I'm sorry I had to hit you right in the face with this loser's head, but it's your job to be the most the deadliest weapon inside the ring in all of professional wrestling." This is where she started whacking Hikaru's head, like bang, 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 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is where we got Monet then going for a swift kick right into the head onto Hikaru Shida. Once she flipped it right over onto the bottom corner apron, this is where she springboards, hits double knees to the face onto Shida. This is where we saw her drag Hikaru, and this is where she got her into a pinfall, like kind of what's that, like a roller legs up, like into like if she just power bombed her, like a sunset flip. But yeah, she went for that pin. But this is where Shida then kicked out at 2.99999. This is where we got the CEO herself then start freaking out, like, oh my god, what to do now? Like I'm running out of moves to do. Like I don't want to hurry up and just do my finisher. This is where fans start saying CEO, CEO, CEO. This is where Monet's like, oh, now you want to chant my nickname. And yeah, I was like Monet, like this is different fans. It's not like the Chicago fans or anywhere else, like where they were booing you and telling you to shut the flub up. But anyway, this is where we got Monet then and try to grab onto Shida's leg. That was a bad idea because she got insta-giri kicked by Shida. This is where Hikaru Shida then send her right to the bottom left side. This is where we got this is where then Shida is like, my head, like I get stumping and it's annoying me. This is where he's like, it was getting hit too many times in that Tina the turnbuckle on the bottom right side. This is where she tried to go for a big clothesline, but this is where Monet was prepared for her to come over to her. This is where she dodged out of the way. This is where she started hitting her with forearms repeatedly, like about 10 straight times in a row. With the referee was like, all right, like she's hanging on to the ropes. That's still considered a rope break, even though it's on the top ropes. And you start counting from 1 to 3. This is where she's like, all right, I get it. Like you don't have to remind me. This is where Monet then try to Irish whip Shida right into the upper right side. This is where then she gets countered though. But this is where she did a double counter by Irish whipping Shida. But this is where Shida then easily rolled right up in the top rope and hit a spinning kick, super kick right into the face. This is where she was like, yeah, like she was like, sorry, Dr. Brittany Baker, DMD. Like, I'm gonna be the first ever AEW women's wrestler to win both the TBS and the AEW Women's Championship. This is where she tried to go for the Falcon Arrow, I believe, onto Mercedes Monet, but before she tried to, this is where she goes for right hands to the face, like repeatedly, like about 3 times in a row. But this is where Monet tried to fight right back with a right hand of her own, but this is where she gets blocked by what's her name? Shida. She hits a big strong right hand to the face. This is where she then Irish whipped her to the right side. This is where she hits a running knee strike right into the face, like if she's a Japanese female version of Jinder Mahal. This is where she tried to go for a pin though, but this is where Monet got the shoulders up at the last second at 2.8. This is where Sheeta's like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like that move hardly gets kicked out of. This is where and Sheeta then finally hit the Falcon Arrow, I believe. That's where like she got intercepted by Mercedes because she flipped right over, right behind her. She hit her signature backstabber onto Hikaru. This is where she got her right where she won her. This is where she then she was trying to get back up, but her back was agonizing her because like she got hit with that. She got hit hard right into the into the apron, I believe, earlier. Like, but this is where we got Monet then going for the Meteora right into the face. But this is where we got Sheeta dodging out of the way. She nearly hit face first right into the upper right corner middle turnbuckle pad right into her face. But luckily she stopped herself from getting hit with the impact. But this is where she got kicked right into the midsection when she turned around when she met up with Sheeta. This is where she lifted the CEO up right into the upper right side. This is where then she tried to go for, I believe, a suplex right off the top rope, like an avalanche suplex. That's where fans were getting up on their feet, cheering on, like, "Come on, do it, Sheeta, do it." And then this is where Monet then countered, and this is where she hit her third Meteora strike in a row, without getting countered, of course. This is where then we got her going for the pin, but this is where she kicked out at the last second of 2.999999999 double triple nine minus 0.1 away from being 3. This is where half of the fans in the left were chanting Hikaru Sheeta and "Let's go Sheeta," while the other half was in the right was chanting for the CEO Mercedes Moné by chanting her nickname CEO, of course. This is where we got speaking of the CEO, this is where she and try to go for her version of the Three Amigos, which is her idol, which her idol used to do before he sadly passed away. Rest in peace to the Latino Heat man himself, Eddie Guerrero. This is where she went for. This is where she tried to go for the last amigo, however, but this is where Sheeta then counter out of it. This is where she intercepted and hit her with a guaranteed Falcon Arrow. And you know the rules, like if your signature or finishing maneuver don't work the first time, it's the guaranteed the second time. That was the case right here for the former AEW Women's Champion. This is where Sheeta to try to go for a pin, but this is where Monet got the shoulders up at the last second for like the third time in a row, I believe. But this is where we got this is where Camille then this is where she nearly got thrown right into the concrete floor by Sheeta, but luckily Camille was there. Even though she nearly botched the save, but she still managed to prevent Monet from getting injured, like very bad, right onto the concrete floor. And then and the CEO herself just don't have good luck when it comes to her crashing on the concrete floor. Why won't you see last year's New Japan resurgence event, like when she took on Willow the Pillow, Nightingale the Night and Terror? Not so great. And the injury lasted for a whole year. But luckily she's back. But this is where we got Camille then to try to see like what Hikaru Shida was about to do. And this is where she surprised her when she see what if she was inside the ring. This is where we saw Hikaru Shida then hit a missile drop kick, a baseball sliding drop kick right into the face onto Camille to distract her, to create a diversion to her so she won't distract her, which maybe that was a smart idea from the AEW champ, but however, she couldn't manage to put away the CEO. But this is where we got her. This is where we got once she got the Monet maker Monet up, like this is where we got but this is where we got first she grabbed her her Kindle stick like sword or sword like Kindle stick, let me rephrase that the other way around, of course. This is where she started whacking Camille with it, like continuing the vertebrate what's her name Camille with her right into the midsection and right in her back. This is where she tried to whack on her for the final time so she can run her away. But this is where luckily Mercedes Moné grabbed onto the Kindle stick, and this is where she was like, "Oh no, you don't!" I'm gonna use it on you next for doing that to my bodyguard, the brick house, and this is where then the referee's like, hey, like you cannot do that, or you get disqualified. Like I know you're gonna retain, like if you do so, but like you don't want to be a champion that only retains your championship by disqualification. Do you? And she's like, well, no. And this is where we got Hikaru Shida then turned around, like once she was distracted with the referee and Monet. She totally forgot that what's her name, Camille, was right behind her, right on the ramp. This is where she managed to turn around, and this is where she got booted right into the face. And this is where then she got sent right back in the ring. This is where we got Mercedes Monet then collect her. This is where she hit her with the Monet Maker to get the 1, 2, 3, and the winner and steal the AEW TBS champion, the CEO Mercedes Monet. And this is where she celebrated a little bit until we got Dr. Britt Baker DMD's music start playing, like similar to back in AEW Forbidden Door back in June. But this time, instead of making their way into on the stage, this is where we saw. This is where Camille thought that she was in the audience again, which was where she was at the last time, where she pretended that she was coming out on the stage. Like this is where she tried to grab on, try to see if it's Britt Baker with one of the masked fans, like pretending to be Sting, but really it's the doctor, dentist / wrestler herself. This is where then she tried to go for like a hip toss, like right onto this fan. This is where she started beating this fan up. But what she did not know that the DMD was right behind both Monet and Camille. Like with Mercedes Monet thought that Camille actually have Britt Baker like right where she won her and start beating her down and making sure that she does not get her hands on the current TBS champ make sure that that on the current TBS champion. But once she turned around, this is where she looked like she saw the Undertaker herself. But I mean, or the Undertaker himself, I should say, like with her getting scared, like if Britt Baker turned into a female dead man, I should say. Let me rephrase that. But this is where we got. This is where then she tried to whack her with the kendo stick, but this is where Britt Baker stopped her before she can even strike on her. This is where she booted her right into the midsection. This is where she hip tossed her over, tried to go for the lockjaw. She was like inches away from getting into her jaw and try to lock it in, the lock jaw in her mouth. But this is where luckily for Monet, she got her legs dragged out of there by her bodyguard, the Brick House Camille. Once she realized that fan really was a fan and it wasn't Britt Baker, and she's actually in the ring, she made her way into the ring, into the back entrance. This is where however, luckily she then got lockjaw, and then it looks like a teaser right here that we could possibly see Baker could do so, and maybe even win the TBS championship. It's only just a matter of time, but I'm not sure who's exactly going to win this. Like that, this is an all-time draw right here, in my opinion, on this case. But let me know in the comments section right down below. Like, are you Team DMD or Team CEO? Let me know down in the comment section right down below about that. But this is where we got Dr. Britt Baker then grab onto the TBS championship. This will be mine on August 25th. And this is where she raised it up right up in the air. This is where she's like, wait and see. And this is where the Mercedes Monet was shaking her head, and she was like, no, that will not be yours. That's going to remain to me, the CEO, and blah, blah, blah. And this is where then we skipped over and went right into the backstage interview with Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal and them. With Jay Lethal getting ready for his match against Hangman Adam Page up next. This is where we got the Cowboy Wrestler. They showed the replay of him attacking what's his name? Jeff Jarrett. This is where then we got Renee Paquette then asked the question to Jeff Jarrett about of him being the thorn on Hangman's side. This is where he's like the thorn on his side, like no, like he's the thorn on my side, like he's the one that's bothering me, like for no given reason, like ever since I helped Danielson out, not Danielson, Team AEW out at Blood and Guts, like he's been obsessed with me, like and blah blah blah, and Again, yeah, again, but he said his nephew Jay Lethal is gonna take care of this problem, and he's gonna make sure he's never gonna bother neither him or neither. Yeah, he's gonna make sure he's gonna bother neither him or Lethal or anybody again in their group as this alliance or whatever the name of this alliance is with Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett. But this is where we got Jay Lethal and try to send a message to the. It is where then this where Jay. Oh wait, let me phrase that. Jay Lethal said this right here. This was like, hold on, Renee. Like he's like we do not like what he said. Like what he said. Uh, like with Renee Paquette, and that's where the Renee said you probably been the thorn on the side. That's where Jeff Jarrett then said he's like what the hell are you talking about, Renee? Like we're not been the thorn on the side. And this is where then Jay Lethal's like, yeah, Hangman does not like us, and we sure as hell don't like Hangman. And again, he's like, the real issue is that the real issue is that he has a problem with Swerve, but he's taking out on us, and we're not gonna have it here, like in our group. And this is where then Hangman Adam Page went straight up onto Jay Lethal and attack him. This is where they start brawling and start beating the living hell out of each other right into the backstage area until they got into the gorilla position. They went right up on the stage. They managed to make it over into the ringside area. This is where we got Jay Lethal then threw Hangman Adam Page in the ring. This is where he clobbered Hangman out in the ring, except this time into the right corner in the ringside area. He managed to hit a suicide dive right on him successfully. He tried to go for a second attempt. This is where he successfully hit a dive onto him as well, onto him again as well. This is where he goes for a third time. He had 3 straight ones, like perfect in a row. He must have been triple lucky right there for hitting a triple whammy onto the former AEW World Champion. Not only that, he hits a 4 consecutive one. This is where he tried to go for and he successfully hit the 5th one as well. He throws Hangman and Adam Page out of the ring. This is where we got Jay Lethal. I was about to say Jeff Jarrett, his kayfabe wrestling nephew, Jay Lethal. Then try to go for a pile driver right onto the hardest part of the ring apron. This is where the Hangman Adam Page counters and picks him right up and look like he's about to hit the dead eye, which he did so right onto the apron. Like the sad thing is, unfortunately for Hangman, he then did it in the ring, but he did not care because he's I don't really care. I don't really care if you're getting the win immediately because the whole point of having this match is to beat the to beat the life out of this guy and move on to Swerve Strickland. This is where he was doing exactly that. This is where then he threw him right into the timekeeper's area afterwards. Like when he threw right after he threw him around into the barricade. This is where then he collected him. This is where he sent him right back in the ring. This is where we got what else? This is where Hangman Adam Page to try to go for a pin attempt, but this is where we got Jay Lethal then kicked out of it, shoulders up. This is where Hangman Adam Page is like, I'm gonna hit him with with another devastating and powerful maneuver, and you better count the 3. And this is where the referee's like, I cannot determine if Jay Lethal is gonna be down for the count or not. Like that's your job is to make sure that he will be down for the 3 count. And this is where Hangman Adam Page is like, yeah, maybe you're right on one thing about that, ref, and I'm gonna do that right now. This is where, and he picks up Jay Lethal. He shoved Jay Lethal right in the backside of his head. This is where then Jay Lethal did not like that, and he was getting very ticked off. And it seemed like he made it seem like if he said some kind of a ball joke and making fun of him about it. And this is where he hits a big payback stinging chop right onto his chest, which probably earned him a number 1 spot on Gunther's envy list. This is where Jay Lethal's like, I'm not going to that stupid and sorry company that claims that it changed. Like I'm gonna stay outside of that company and spend the rest of my career in All Elite Wrestling, like because I'm happy here. And then and for us fans, we're happy for him to find a company that he's happy with. But this is where we got Hangman Adam Page to hit a big right forearm right into the head of Jay Lethal. This is where he picks up the former Ring of Honor World champion. This is where he dipped him right to the right side. He tried to throw him to the left side. This is where they did. And this is where the fans start chanting. Like half of the fans were chanting for Hangman, and the other half was chanting for Jay Lethal, like they were doing on the Sheeta versus Monet match in the beginning of the opener. And this is where they're like, "Let's go, Hangman, let's go, Lethal," like that kind of like. Or they chant it like this. They're like, "Let's go, Lethal, Cowboy, Sugar Honey, Iced Tea." That's what they chanted exactly. This is where we got Hangman Adam Page then go for a belly-to-belly suplex right onto Jay Lethal. This is where he tried to go for a pin, but this is where we got Jay Lethal got the shoulder up, the left shoulder to be the exact, right on to the last second of 2.7, I believe. This is where Jay Lethal's like, I got my back, like the agony. And this is where then Jay Lethal's like, "I like the sound of that." Like it showed that you are absolutely 100,000% weak right now. This is where then Jay Lethal's like, "Is that even a number percentages?" Like, and this is where then we got Jay. This is where then Hangman Page tell him to shut up, and he speared him right to the upper right eye, right into the midsection. This is where he hits a knife edge chop, which earned him a number 2 spot in Gunther's envy list of tonight's AEW Dynamite. And this is where, and we got Jay Lethal then got put up right onto the upper right corner turnbuckle by Hangman. This is where everybody's about to hit an avalanche maneuver. I was not sure what move he was hitting at first, but this is where Jay Lethal then get a counter out of it, hit some punches like with his right fist right into the head of Hangman, and along with a European uppercut. This is where we got him then going up right on the Hangman Adam Page. You try to go for a running splash, which that was a big mistake because he did not know which move he was hitting in particular. But this is where we got Hangman Adam Page picked him up right on the shoulders. And this is what the one thing that Hangman Adam Page made me happy of tonight is he hit my finishing maneuver, which is the most dominating move in professional wrestling, the Assassin Valley Driver. Well, he called it the Death Valley Driver. But this is where he tried to go for a cover, but this is where we got Jay Lethal got the left shoulder up at the last second at 2.9. Barely got the shoulder up in the process. This is where we got Hangman Adam Page. Then let's see. And where then Hangman Adam Page started walking around mocking the fans. This is where fans started showing their dissatisfaction onto the cowboy wrestler or the cowboy refreshing drink that you possibly would not drink, I guess you could say, like especially if you're sick, I guess you could say. But this is where then we got Hangman Adam Page and go for a clothesline right onto Jay Lethal. But just where Jay Lethal move out of the way, he rolled him up into the surprise roll-up, which is the most devastating move in professional wrestling. But this is where he turned into a wheelbarrow roll-up. Once the first attempt did not work, he tried to go for a second time. Hangman Adam Page put his feet up and pushes Hangman right to the right side. This is where Jay Lethal's like, "Okay, that didn't work. I'm gonna try this third attempt." He was out with the strike 3 when the backslide roll up that didn't work. But this is where he tried again in the second round. But this is where the fourth attempt almost was successful because he got a count of 2.999999999 double triple nine minus 0.1 and an inch away from being 3. This is where we got Jay Lethal try to go for a pin, but this time it was only a 2.7 count. This is where the referee's like, "Yeah, 2." Like, and this is where Jay Lethal's like, "I figured that was going to be a 2.7. This is where then he tried to take a page out of the Nature Boys playbook and go for a figure 4 while wooing around the arena. This is where he wrapped Hangman's left leg up like halfway, but this is where Hangman grabbed his right foot and he pushes him right onto the rear end, like, and hit and go face first right onto the ropes on the right side. This is where Hangman Adam Page then try to go for an arm bar, but it turned into a crossface. Looked like a guy that the Great One would call a referee that we're not allowed to mention in wrestling whatsoever. Not even in AEW. Like they don't want to mention this wrestler due to his actions of committing a crime onto himself and his wife and kids, but that's a different story for a different video. But this is where we got what's his name? Jay Lethal didn't try to turn it into a pinfall, but this is where we got Hangman kick out at the last second. This is where Hangman Adam Page didn't try to turn it into a dead eye, but this is where Jay Lethal counter, and this is where he nearly got the guaranteed figure 4 leg lock, but this is where we got Hangman Adam Page and grab onto the eyeballs, and this is where he started raking them and started hanging on to him like if he's trying to gouge him out. This is where, unfortunately, Jay Lethal was double cursed right at this point because Hangman Adam Page rolled him into an inside cradle in the reversal. But this is where the referee tried to correct the pinfall and tell Hangman Adam Page to put his other shoulder, put Jay Lethal's other shoulder down. But this is where he did so, but unfortunately, he did not get him the 3 count with the referee counted 1, referee counted 2. But this is where Jay Lethal got the left shoulder up at 2.8, I believe. This is where we got Hangman Adam Page. Then what move he hit next after unsuccessfully going for an inside cradle? It was what else? It was a discus clothesline. That's what it was. And he followed that up with a buckshot lariat, I believe, and that's what helped him got the 1, 2, 3, and the winner of this match, Hangman Adam Page. And a big congratulations to the former AEW champion. I guess let's move him a step further, into a future AEW championship showdown with the current AEW champ that he's trying to get revenge onto, and that is Swerve Strickland himself. But let me know in the comment section right down below about this match. Do you think it gets like a third, second place spot, perhaps, if not the first? Let me know. I think it gets the 5th place spot, because we got 2 other matches that were really good before this, which we had a triple threat match between Kyle O'Reilly, Orange Cassidy, and Roderick Strong, and then we also had what the other match was? Oh, yeah, the Acclaim versus in England. I believe that's where they were located at the Rep Pro event. This is where he defeated him. Michael Oakland, this is where it looked like he's about to be professional and show some respect to the Rev Pro champion. This is where he then whacked him with his championship, which is the AEW American Championship, right into his face. This is where we got then the challenger's fiance then tried to come in the ring and try to talk some sense into the MJF. This is where he nearly hit the SNA, what's that, the 91 the 91 Tiger Driver, I believe, onto her, but luckily Will Ospreay was there to come for the save and save the couple from getting humiliated by his future opponent at AEW All In. But this is where we got next up. It was this is where we got Will Ospreay then was in a vignette, in a vignette video, sending a message to MJF with them showing MJF saying his words the week prior, about the aerial assassin. And this where then he said this where Will Ospreay's I never let anybody walk around me, and you're gonna be those next victims that try to end my career before it begins here in AEW, whatever he said. This what, and he said and I'm gonna show you what death really looks like if you get in the ring with me, bruv, to MJF. And this is where MJF was like the best in the world is not Will Ospreay. Right after they showed the vignette with Will Ospreay, this is where he's the best in the world is not him. But the best in the world is the man you're looking at, the current American champion, MJF. And this is where they said I became a generational talent. And while they showed it, they showed every single wrestler that wrestled him from the last 5 years, with 2 of them being currently on WWE. The first one being Cody Rhodes in his time in AEW in 2019. And then in 2021, it was he showed him facing against CM Punk in that dog collar match. Was it 2022? I think it was 2022. But anyways, I was I'm very shocked. Why would they even though that they're doing this just to highlight MJF and not highlight the guy that formerly used to work for that went back to the other company, but still, I thought there won't be any mentions about CM Punk, not mention. Any appearances. They didn't mention him. What am I even saying right now? Yeah, I thought that includes no appearances. There's no any mentions or any what's that showing of the Chicago-made wrestler, at least his face side of things, but this. But this is where we got MJF then and said he's a generational talent, one of the best that ever done it. And he's like, and I am the greatest wrestler on God's green earth, like, and stuff, like he always said. And he said, like, and he don't need a New Japan to make MJF, which that's obviously an edit, like when he said he don't need a New Japan or well, I'm not sure if I should say it right now. Like the former let's say the former chairman on the other company, I should say, but down in the comment section right down below, like what's your reactions on that? For them to edit that part out, wink wink nudge nudge. But this is where we got this is where so and this is where the MJF was like, yeah, how about the AEW International Championship match, part 1 with MJF versus Will Ospreay? Yeah, that was an easy dub. Like, I just got, and he's like, and I beat Will Ospreay like a one-hit wonder talent that without breaking a damn sweat. And I deserve a title that symbolizes the best wrestling in the world and the best country in the world, which is this country. But only in the state of the lovely, the most loveliest state in all of the United States, New York or whatever. Well, actually, say Long Island, I should say, more like the city of the state, like one of the cities of the state. Let me rephrase that. This is where MJF was like. He's like, and this title represents the professional of this good sport. And I was like, I think you just triggered off the man that has the envy list for AEW guys. And that was probably the most awful thing that MJF could have done to the Ring General, disrespecting him by taking his line by saying like this represents the greatness of this very sport, like something that the King General would probably not take light of, and that's probably 10 times at least worse than mocking him with his signature move, the knife edge chop. But this is where we got Will Ospreay. I mean, MJF decided he's like, I am the flag and the face of AEW. And he's like, and Will Ospreay thinks that he's the best wrestler in the world, like my American ass that he is. And this is what this is where it's like, and you lack what it takes to be a real champion, Ospreay. And I was thinking to myself, like if that was so, like he would not do no good impressions too. He wouldn't have pull off a good impression like when he was the international championship in his first reign. But and this is where the MJF then said, like, into this backstage segment from last week, saying like with them showing it on this vignette, saying like he said, I'm gonna retain my championship as soon as we get to Wembley Stadium. And this is where they show back Will Ospreay in this video. This is where, and then this is where he's like, there's no chances that I'm gonna be losing at Wembley. Like it is. And this is where, and this is where they said, like, and when I get to Wembley, like, I'm not gonna be hesitant. I'm not gonna hold back and push back the trigger. Like, I'm gonna pull it and I'm gonna strike the C91 Tiger Driver, or the 91 Tiger Driver. I believe that's what he said. And this is where they showed that Kyle Fletcher last week when they were in a backstage off-screen segment with Kyle Fletcher asking them a good question, saying like, why didn't you hit him with the Tiger Driver? And I was thinking the same thing. Like, you should have done that. Like, I don't think nobody wouldn't have cared. Like, because MJF is a complete scumbag. But let me know in the comment section right down below who's exactly going to win the AEW American Championship, which could possibly turn back into the AEW American Champion. But let's move on to the next slide. Let's talk about the next match, which I believe was the third place spot for sure, which is the triple threat match between what's his name, the freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy, Roderick Strong, and Kyle O'Reilly. But before we get into that, this is where we got Pac was kind of upset. This is where he's like I know, I don't understand why Will Ospreay Ospreay getting the opportunity easily just because he lost the title to the man to same man that defeated him and dethroned him for that international championship. This is where somebody behind the camera corrected him, and this is where he's like, okay, whatever, the American championship, like whatever MJF likes to call it. And this is where he's like, and then he's like, and I just cannot help it that Will Ospreay's getting a shot, like, and he's not a true deserving contender, like I am, like I am getting very sick and tired with this corrupted continent of a light, like, and manipulated, like the bummer, like, and this is where. And he's like, now's my ticket to my Wembley moment, like in my home country. But no matter, it's okay, because I'm gonna sustain like some revenge, like in my way, like and he's like, and I will face the. And he's like, and I'm gonna face whoever walks out of Wembley Stadium with that international title. Like, I don't care, and I mean it by calling it the international championship. No corrections. I don't think it's the American champ. I think that's a puke infested and my bad. I think that's a puke infested and garbage title that Maxwell has around his waist. And I'm gonna challenge either one of these men in Chicago. 2 weeks later, like at September 7, like Chicago, Illinois, at AEW All Out, I'm gonna beat one of them like I beat Kenny Omega in that exact same building, like, and that's where then. And he's like, so whether it's MJF or whether if it's Will Ospreay, like AEW All Out on the pay-per-view 2 weeks after All In, I'm taking back what's mine, and what I take back what's mine, and I was the inaugural champion, and I will be the last international champion, or something like that. And he's like, and I'm showing you exactly what the bastard is capable of, and that's when the segment ended. This is where we got the replay of Darby Allin and This is where they show a replay of Gravity and Darby Allin scored a very perfectionate victory onto the Premier Athletes this past Saturday on AEW Collision. But this is where we got Darby Allin send a video message to what's his name, a little vignette message. Let me rephrase that onto the what's the name to Jack Perry. Just where he and there's like what. Here's where it's like, hey, Mr. Perry, like years ago in the independence, when I made a name for myself with absolutely nothing, and talking, and the only thing I've been getting paid of is getting $25, $50 a night, and what's the end day that a guy like Darby Allin get? Like, now if you're an AEW star, and I don't even know what AEW is, apparently this is a place that where you can actually be yourself, and I knew how to stop. I get stopped for nothing to get my name out into the wrestling market, and then I did so while still being homeless, and I was living in my car, and then he's like, and there was a news update that AEW has signed a Jungle Boy Jack Perry in the business, and then I was thinking to myself, like, who the flub is Jack Perry? And yeah, he did not say flub. Like, you can hear the censor sounds coming on when he said who the is Jack Perry. But anyway, this is where we got Jack Perry. I mean, this is where Darby Allin didn't hit me right in the that AEW is a place to the leader. As the leaders is going to be hiring their friends from wherever they made friends with in their time in their home in the California independent circuit, wherever that place may be. And and Jungle Boy did he did, and then Jungle Boy. I mean, don't get me wrong, Jungle Boy did a couple of independent shows in California, but he didn't really have to sacrifice much to AEW. It's good for all these years that Jack Perry, you can finally be yourself, because what was Jungle Boy? Nobody didn't believe in it. He's not believing in all that Tarzan Bull Sugar Honey Iced Tea gimmick that he was doing when he first got here 5 years ago. And yeah, and this is where then Darby Allin then added saying but that was cool. You were actually being yourself, man. You like which was a child who takes everything for granted. Like I don't think you understand how important the place that AEW is. Because even if you did, you would have treated with much respect. Like in every week, like you would be doing exactly like I do, and that's why I go out there every Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday on Dynamite, Rampage, and Collision, respectively, to put my life on the line and simply kill myself. Like, and he's like, and the reason why I do so is because I don't take it for granted. Like in last year, like I know that sugar honey iced tea that you pulled, like which was a reference to him like going at it with Darby Allin's one of his favorite wrestlers, like and I would say mentors, but I'll say an idol, like one of Darby Allin's idols, like which was the man that's feuding with a certain Scottish psychopath over on the other company. But anyways, it's where he got Darby Allin's like, I really wish that you did got fired in that day, like instead of that other guy. Well, he didn't say that other guy, but he just said he just wished he got fired, which I believe that's a wink, wink, nudge, nudge, like to the guy that formerly used to work there that went back to the other company that he made his name at as a popular wrestler. But yeah, this is where they showed him like we poured gasoline on his head, and this is where Darby Allin was like, yeah, like I bet the fans wouldn't have missed you, and I believe nobody wouldn't have missed you in the locker room. Like, what have you brought into AEW lately? Like, huh? Like, this is where he did the chuckle. This is where he's like, what happens to the end, like, of the Jack Perry era or whatever? This is where then they move on to the Darby. We got Darby Allin was entering the ring. I'm not sure if he was getting ready for a match or some kind of a promo segment. But all I know is that he was heading out in his ring gear. I guess he was supposed to be scheduled for a match in kayfabe, but he got immediately interrupted by attacking and wild Jack Perry out of nowhere, with him just charging with full force right onto him, knocking him down right into the floor. This is where he started beating him around in the arena until he brought him backstage. This is where he put him right underneath the garage. This is where he's like, I'm going to kill you. And I was like, if this was reality, if this was in reality, I would be saying like Jack. Like, I don't think that's a good idea for saying that out loud. Like, somebody's going to be calling 911. Like, well, I should say more specifically the police and try to arrest you for attempted murder. But luckily, this is all scripted and stuff, and no law enforcers were there, only just security guards. When he tried to nearly kill him with his little box-like structure by pushing it, but at first the security guards on the side of him try to stop him, but he pushes them right off by hitting them with a couple of right strikes right into the head. Like, and this is where he tried to continue to push it, but luckily there was some security guard that was right in front of Darby that stopped him and grab onto the box-like structure right on time. This is where they escorted him out of the arena, like so he won't do more permanent damages onto the former TNT champion. And what was your thoughts onto the segment? Do you think that it was very perfectly intense, like for them trying to kill each other, like whether if it's burning each other to death, or well, not each other, more likely one burning the other and the other's trying to crush him with a box-like structure, like with him trapped into the garage with his head and shoulders right onto the right underneath the door. But yeah, let me know about this in the comments. And this is where we got Jack Perry then was not done with him yet. This is where then he had something to say to his future opponent at All In, and he wanted to challenge him in a coffin match. I was like, ooh, Delally, and I was thinking to myself, like, what is up with Darby being in coffin matches? Like, first it was in a tag team match, teaming with his mentor and his and one of his other idols, Sting, like in a tag team coffin match. But this time it's gonna be in a one-on-one match for the title that. I was secondly, the wrestler that put the TNT title on the map is the most prestigious belt in all of AEW and even overall professional wrestling. But this is where we got what's her name? Mariah May didn't also send her message in the vignette onto Timeless Tony Storm. And yeah, they did a pretty fantastic job with these vignettes. If it's not with Darby Allin and Jack Perry, or even with Timeless Tony Storm and her former protege Mariah May, or even what's her name? What's their names? Swerve Strickland and Bryan Danielson. They did a super tremendous job on that spot for tonight's AEW Dynamite. But this is where we got Mariah May to start burning some pictures of Timeless Tony Storm, including the one with her with that pose she